Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa D'Amico, the curator of Childhood Unmuted, which is being hosted by the Cultural Alliance of Western Connecticut. And I have the pleasure today of speaking with Antoinette Wysocki
Got it.
about her incredible piece in the exhibit called "It Was Just a Faded Memory." And I have to tell you, your piece is one of those pieces that the more you look at it, the more you see in it. And it's just an incredible journey that you've taken the viewer on in this piece. There's almost an element to me of poetry in it and storytelling. And the viewer makes, this is all my opinion, but to me, these are the reasons why I selected it. Because I felt like the viewer created the narrative. You gave all of the clues and the pieces to the story, and the viewer gets to weave it all together in their own way. So I'm very
And I
curious.
did my job.
You blew my mind. You really
Thank
did.
you.
I want to know, before we go into the context of your piece, I'm very curious about your materials.
So for that particular piece, it was just charcoal and just a charcoal eraser and nothing else. I mostly, like, I have a piece behind me. I work as a mixed media painter, so I combine mostly water-based materials, and but I believe that drawing is the heart of painting. So and I draw a lot in my paintings as well. So I believe that I love that deep charcoal experience where you're kind of like etching it out as you go and you're layering it, and every mark kind of leaves a history. So I'm really interested in the kind of ghost-like images that are left behind.
That's it. The ghost-like images left behind. Because your piece doesn't have, it's very almost devoid of color. It has a haunting quality to it. What was the catalyst for this piece?
So I was looking at taking like an old childhood drawing and kind of playing with the whole idea of memory association, like while you're working in mark making, and finding an image of myself around the same age that I made the drawing, and kind of putting together a story. And it's an interesting thing to kind of so the original drawing I did was probably this big on one of those while you're out old message pads. You remember those? So I found it, and I thought it was an interesting drawing. That's how I used to communicate. My mother was always working, and I would like kind of slip notes here and there and draw pictures. And so I thought it was an interesting idea because that's kind of, those marks are kind of more primal. You're not thinking about you're not really thinking about composition. You're not thinking about anything. You're just drawing because you love drawing. And where I thought it was pretty simple, it was an interesting journey to kind of see how I chose to make certain marks and where I put in color or just left it, and like, why did I choose this certain thing? And then taking the same photograph, taking a photograph of around the same age, and you know, try and then kind of going through memories as you're working and layering it. And so the idea was to take the viewer on a journey to let them see what they wanted to see. It's supposed to be kind of haunting as well. I think that there's some of that in childhood, and especially when I express myself pretty much only through drawing at that age. So I wanted the idea of the image looking at you and making you interact with it.
In your description, it said that the material that you were working on was rag.
Yeah, so it's just handmade paper, and there were pieces of paper that I just kind of kept on making bigger and bigger as I went. So I wanted to see, I wanted the exercise of like really having like full body into this drawing.
Incredible. Tell me a little bit about you as an artist.
So something that's different with this type of drawing is like I work with a lot of color, and every once in a while I say, like, I like to go back to school and work with charcoal and do those kinds of drawings. So I use a lot of organic images in my work, and then I kind of just feed off of whatever is moving me for the series. So a lot of butterflies sometimes, and flowers and botanical pieces, and then but within kind of those images are more of a conversation. I hide a lot of kind of Easter egg type of thing in my work. And so the idea is to invite you to kind of stay and look at the piece longer and move around. And I hope to promise some reward with kind of hanging out with me for a bit. And so it within that other layer is kind of where I'll have more statements about whatever I'm thinking, or if it's political or whatever, where they're kind of just hidden. They're there if you want to see it, or if you just want to see the aesthetic value of something that's hopefully pretty beautiful, then that's what that works for there.
In becoming the artist that you are today, did you always somehow include, as you're saying, like Easter eggs in your work, or did that come about the more you were exposed and the more you worked on your craft?
I think because I tend to work a lot on rag, on paper, and then I would just kind of, I guess, write as I was going. Something funny. I think it's more like passing thoughts, because when you're working, it's almost in a meditative state, and you'll start flashing back on things, and sometimes I think things are funny, so I'm like going to write it down. And I just felt that kind of capturing moments while you're working is an interesting concept as well. So in that sense, writing was kind of like the hidden things, and then I wipe it out or keep it if I wanted it to be seen. And then I kind of moved more with hiding like tiny images and things like that, little stories. So I guess so. It's been I guess it's probably the last 25 years I've been working that way.
You, in my opinion, are truly a fascinating artist. You really
You.
are. And I hope that everyone listening will see more of your work, and please go to this exhibit online and see your work there. But I will be following you, because I need to, each artist sees the world in a different way. And the way you see the world is captivating. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. Thank you for including me in a wonderful exhibition.